Okay, so we should be live. So, hello everyone. It's Kenyon here. It's Basketball Rewind, joined by Coach Roach, joined by Beyond the Locker Room. Today is a draft talk day. Let's get it started. So, without further ado, it's that time of year. Raptors are what they are, and even if they weren't, we're still going to be talking about the draft because that's how we made our bread and butter, really, so far. So, thanks for joining. Today, we're going to mainly be talking about VJ Edgecombe, as well as there's going to be some additional players that we're obviously going to look at. If anyone has any questions in the comments, of course. Yeah. Thanks, Will. I'm assuming I'm the only one with a hoodie, so yeah. It is a very warm hoodie, so I will say that. Boardman gets paid. Let's go.
There you go.
Thank you. Actually, before we get into VJ, Will does have a question, so let's start. Let's start it off with that. Actually, um, so make,
I'm just going to cede my time to coach.
yeah.
Well, obviously, the coaching aspect of me, I hate it, but I do understand he's trying to thread the impossible needle, and I know I've said that over and over again. He's trying to listen to his bosses to lose, and what you saw last night was, and Shed was like a tenth of a second from that going in and then winning. So I think it is interesting what he's been doing lately, but I'm not shocked by it because he's trying to please everybody. And in his spot, it's near impossible to do. He has to listen to his bosses. So,
Um. Hmm. I'll give my thoughts. So, if I'm not mistaken, there was an episode of The Twilight Zone a while ago, and Beyond brought this point up a long time ago as well. And I just had to look it up because I couldn't remember exactly what the title was. It's the 8th episode of the 3rd season. It's called It's a Good Life. And I'll just say that it's reminiscent of that. I'll leave it at that. It's somewhere on YouTube. And I will also say it is a good day, Scotty. Um, it's yeah. I mean, there's a good question of I know some people like I don't get into the psyche of players and all that kind of stuff, but you do have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of playing him? If the argument is, because I've heard this, that Scotty is the ultimate person gutting it out, you know, while being like injured and limping and gimping and whatever other things that rhyme with that, just to make it onto the court for these games when they are fielding the roster moves that they are, and they're doing the things that they are doing, which is signaling a tanking move. You have to ask yourself, okay, well, what's the point? And if that's the argument, are those people that are saying that, are you suggesting that Pirtle isn't a good soldier, or is he a good soldier? Like it's it begs the question, and I'm not here to have that question. It's a 65 game thing, but Will, I mean, not that I disagree with you, but he ain't gonna win nothing. So, has anyone explained that to him? He knows he's not going to get all NBA, right? He knows he's not going to get all defense too, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, I guess since we play Washington twice in the last 5 games, it's good to have him sit out after he reaches 65 games. So there's that. Any thoughts beyond that? I probably gave this too much.
I think Scotty's got a. Don't freak out people when I say that. Scotty has a fair amount of power right now when you're the franchise player. So if he wants to go out and play, he's going to go out and play. I don't mean that in a negative sense. Only Darko can stop his minutes on the court. As Pirtle. Pirtle last night in Washington was looking like Jokic. And once he did, Darko dragged him off the court.
I saw someone mention DeMar DeRozan and said, "Oh, like Casey benched DeMar in the fourth, and look at how that happened." So they're trying to avoid that. I'm just gonna say this, okay? They sat Shea, they sat Luka, okay? Those are better players than DeMar DeRozan, with all respect. So why? At this point, like, what are you fighting for? You don't want to be in a situation where people are saying, well, Scotty doesn't have help. And then you look back at now and say, well, he could have had the help. He could have had the help. And if you're going to have to potentially move off someone, you want to make sure that you're moving it off for some. What numbers? He isn't shooting better. The defense is okay. So, like, just from a numbers standpoint, I know this isn't but you know, I don't even. It's not even we. I don't know what if that's the argument. I'm not saying that it's the argument because I don't know Scotty like that. But if that's the argument, like, you might want to stop the count, as they say, because it's not looking good, man. You might want to pull a Roger Stone back in the day.
So
toss some of the ballots out.
Just for our audience, the 65 game thing, he has to make all NBA or all defense or defensive player of the year to get that.
It has to be all NBA or defensive player of the year. All defense technically doesn't count, but like obviously having all defense will look good on his resume for sure.
Right. And he's not going to he's not going to be all NBA. He's not going to win defensive player of the year.
Very rare is it that someone is not an all-star and becomes all NBA. We have seen it on this franchise, but it's very rare.
Yeah, I just think the team's bad. That's not going to happen to anybody.
I said, it's very rare for that to happen. Bradley Beal was an all-star and he did not make all NBA that year. It ain't. No, I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. It's a waste of time. So at some point we just have to kind of move along. But yeah, other things before we get into VJ Edgecombe. Any of you guys want to talk more about the state of the team?
I'm beyond talking about his man VJ.
Yeah, man. I can't wait because as far as I'm concerned, this whole conversation, the absurdity of this conversation, is probably the reason why we're in this position we're in. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Okay, so I think a good place to start with VJ is starting with yesterday. Because and I do want to touch on the Rutgers game later on, but yesterday we kind of all watched the game together.
Hold on a second. Hold on. It's VJ's day.
Okay.
It's VJ's
okay.
day.
All right.
We ain't doing this. We ain't doing this.
All right. I
put a line right down here because when we had other people's day, we weren't discussing, what was Baylor's daily in this case that day. No. We ain't doing that.
Oh, we could. I mean, Baylor's a pretty damn good team, man.
Yeah, they're going to be in the tournament.
Oh, man.
We're doing that today.
Will's getting into it already. But VJ is a very, very interesting guy. So, yeah, VJ, is it Valdez Jr. Edgecombe or something like that? It doesn't matter. VJ Edgecombe is potentially going to be a top 3 pick. Potentially. We will see. It's hard to say his measurables Let's just say right now, for argument's sake, he's 6'4", and just leave it at that, with around a 6'10" wingspan. But he's a Caribbean 6'4", as they say, right? He's ate his ground provisions. He has some, some Edo and all that.
Wow,
He's ready to go.
Oh wow!
So VJ would fit in right at home as a Toronto Raptor with the culture. He would be leading the first float of Carabana without question. How do I start? I mean, I watched yesterday's game and I just came away from it, and I told you guys, and I'm sorry to the OG of this name, but I call him the Glide because he's just so smooth. And so I don't think we've seen some prospects on this team throughout the years. And even if you look at Grady, even if you look at Jacoby, we have not seen someone who is this athletically gifted, especially at a guard spot, in a very long time. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if you guys want to name a name or whatever, but it's been a long time. I mean, just from the pure raw athleticism, it's honestly absurd. And his motor is ridiculous. Like the way that he was just in on the defensive end, T-Mac level athleticism or less. I mean, he's not 6'10", but my goodness, man, beyond, you were right with your comparison, especially on the defensive end. I'll leave it like that, and I'll pass it over to Beyond, because Beyond has the perfect comparison for him in terms of athleticism.
Hey, I said before, I see him. From the day I saw him, I said, okay, I see young Dwayne Wade in this case, and that's who I see here. I think he's actually a better athlete than Wade, which is pretty scary itself. Wade is not arguably. Wade is one of the two best guards ever in NBA history when it comes to shot blocking at his position. The other guy is some guy named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I'm not sure. You might have heard of him one time. I don't know. But some guy out scrappy. You might have heard of that dude. Yeah.
Some bum, whatever.
Exactly. So when I say, when you see numbers that we're seeing in college like this, at his size, there's only two guys that are 6'6" and under in this case, that play bigger than their position when it comes to shot blocking, and it's those two individuals. He just last night alone, I had to look at it twice. I had to look at it a few times. I couldn't believe it in this case. What I saw. You tuned me into the game last night because I was kind of watching Lakers Celtics a bit and some other stuff around the house. Jumped in at halftime, started watching the Baylor Houston game. I guess in the first half, he tracked the man down. I would say he was at the 35 or 40, 40-yard mark. I guess a 40-foot mark. And the guy was probably at the 30, I would say at the 70 or 65 mark. In this case, you were thinking about 90 feet. It's 90 feet. He tracked that man down and blocked the shot. I couldn't believe he's at the U of the logo when he started the run in this case here. The man was pretty much almost at the free throw line upside the side of the court and blocked the shot and kept it in bounds. Shout out to my man, Bruce Walton. Always says it, man. Keep it in play, big man. Keep it in play. Yep. Shout out to my man, the big redhead. Like, and it's like those type of things. This is why I keep saying, when you look at stuff like this, it's like you gotta look at guys like, okay, not only can they be the best player on a team when it comes to conference finals or finals, but I've always said you need something that has a rare set of athleticism, because when you get to this level, those are the type of plays we're talking about. Yeah, everyone can play at this point when you're playing the finals. That isn't the issue. It's like who can make special plays that only that individual can make. And he's one of those rare type of athletes. I said it from day one. So he's the best athlete I've seen come through the draft since Vince Carter. All right? And a few of y'all might have seen that guy play. Where it's like, oh my gosh, you're sitting there jumping out your seat. Like, what did I just see type of athleticism? Right? Better athlete, Ant-Man, better athlete. You name all the great athletes you can think of since Vince Carter. He is a better athlete than all of them. Now, so from that perspective, yeah. I don't know. You want to break them down from an offense, defense standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, just from like an offensive standpoint, I mean, he's relentless with his attacks at the rim, and he gets to the rim. So, like, I'm going to use some players that we have. So, take IQ for example. IQ tries to attack, but he can't get all the way downhill, so he just relies on the floater game way too much. This dude will he will take guys that are bigger than him. Kind of like Wade, actually. And he will just absorb the hit and just keep going, just truck through. And it's just like, damn. Like he just gets there, absorbs the hit, flips it up, right? I saw, I've seen him like switch hands midair. He's just, it's different watching him. That's all I'm gonna say. Like there's a lot of good prospects in the top 4 or 5 of this draft. He's definitely one of them without question. And it's if we landed the top 4, and we will get to the top 3 question because that is a good question because that is really where the draft starts. But the Raptors will have an interesting conversation on their hands. We'll put it that way. I'll also say his. I just have my notes over here. To me, there's a lot that he has to improve on, and there's a lot that he has improved on. But he already has a wicked first step. I don't think we've had a guy with the first step in a long time.
Like that.
I don't think Kawhi had a great Kawhi's first step was all right, but like Kawhi was just fast and like so robotically
Kawhi was
perfect. Yeah, he's just powerful.
Yeah.
This guy's like twitchy, like just like I can't describe it. Like I was watching some of his high school stuff earlier today, and you could tell that like in high school he would get himself into trouble because he would just jet into spaces too quickly, and then have to he would make a safe pass, but not the best pass. So he'd make like option B. He's improved on that. And but the fact that he could get there, that he can get himself into trouble, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So, Coach, your thoughts, and I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab some water.
See, so excited talking about DJ had to get water, man. Go ahead.
I know. Seeing BJ back in the Olympics, you got to see some of that athleticism live. And he was out there with Eric Gordon, I think Ayton. There was a couple other Bohemians. Buddy Hield, yeah. And there was a time when BJ was the guy on the team. And at the time, he's 19 years old, 18 years old. And he started out with Baylor a little slow. He's trying to get used to the NCAA, get used to college basketball. And then I would say about December, early January, the 3-point numbers went up. The athleticism's always been there. The defense has always been there this season. I mean, he's 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2 steals, and he was a block a game until about 2 weeks ago. Not many guards in college basketball are doing that. And I think I've heard Trey and Sampson kind of compare him to Anthony Edwards, flashes of him, which we once discussed a few months ago as well. Beyond has said about the Dwayne Wade comparison on defense. I think right now he'll be closer to Wade defensively than he will be to Ant-Man offensively. That could change in a couple of years' time. We'll see. But I think it's the defense with him and just this pure athleticism and strength when he goes to the hoop that's really intriguing by this prospect. If, like Kenyon said, let's just say he's 6'4", if he is 6'5", I don't know if there's a guaranteed Dylan Harper's number 2 pick. I don't know.
He's also not done growing, which I will add to Ace as well and Cooper Flag, because remember, these guys are 18.
Mm-hmm. Those two guys are 18. Of course, BJ's a year older. I would say this though, and this is why I say I don't think as much as I see Anthony Edwards people talk about, his game to me, I think the athleticism, I think, is what everyone gets caught up with because there's not that many two guards are central offensive hubs like Ant is in today's modern game. But the reason why I say he's Wade is defensively, but also the way he actually approaches the game. That's the thing. People forget. People think of like Wade in this case, maybe the last couple of years of Wade, the knees aren't great, and he's a little more. You go back to early Wade, in Miami, like with Shaq and Claire with Odom, he was relentless attacking the hoop. And the thing that I think why I love what DJ is, and you mentioned just now, Coach, is that, and this is what we have the buzzword all year in Raptor land has been development, right? Development. Well, this is what I'm talking about, folks, when I decided this and put this in context. To see the growth of him from the trials, in this case for the Olympic team, to the early stages of Baylor, and then to watch him from the early stages of Baylor to what we see today. It's night and day from the development standpoint. He had trouble in this case here. We watched a game with him against Iowa State. The time Iowa State was ranked the top 3 in the league. First thing, they were already up 15 to 17 points on Baylor. This is about 10 minutes left to go in the game. They were doubling VJ Edgecombe at that point, and he wasn't even as good as he is now. And the thing that I found fascinating at that point was he was doing the right quote, the right play, passing to the double team, stuff like that. He wasn't kind of taking any chances in this case. But at the time I told the fellas, I said the next phase of his game is he has to learn to kind of start trying to figure out how to break double teams, right? Which is a great talent from, Kenyon's boy in this case here, is a great talent Harper already has. Lo and behold, what do we see now in the last 3-4 weeks now? That double team broke. He broke a double team yesterday, to your point, went through the hole like a hot knife through butter, switch hands, and it's like, boom, finger roll. I was like, okay, we doing this now? So think of this. This is what he's doing now. When he has a full summer offseason to prepare himself for the NBA as a rookie, what do you think you're going to see by the time you see at the end of next season if he's already progressing at this pace? That's why I say I was so high for him from day one. My philosophy has been for this Raptors team, and this is my philosophy, period, in this case when it comes to drafting. It was, as me to put my Pistons hat on, put my Mavericks hat on, or in this case for the old Raptor folks, put that hat on. Swing for the fences, man. Ain't no time here to get soft now and just do stuff here just to kind of make sure you feel good, you check a box off. Swing for the fences. And my picks have always been the swing for the fences guys. I'm in this case here. I am going yard in this case here. In this case, Babe Ruth. I want going deep. I ain't trying to hit no double. I don't want no triples. I want grand slams. And I'm trying to take that chance. I'm swinging. I'm doing my best Joe Carter. I'm going to earn my swing. I ain't going down checking my swing. I'm going to swipe at that sucker in this case here. Albert Bell style. That's what I'm doing. Okay, this idea, I'm going to be slapping Tony Fernandez doubles down the alley. No, we ain't doing that. When you get the top 3, I don't want that type of conservatism. And so my mindset's always been that. And VJ, in my mind, has been the player besides Cooper. I said, hey, the paraphrasing Z line in this case here, man. If Cooper's LeBron, wait, hey, VJ may be, hey, you know how the rhyme goes.
Well, my thing too with VJ, take the talent aside because I agree with you on the talent. The fit before the Ingram trade, just to fit alone, I was like, nah, I don't know. We got Grady, you got Jacoby, you got RJ. Ingram starting next year. Your front court is, I'm assuming now your front court's going to be Ingram, Scotty, and Pirtle. Just for now. That backcourt is not guaranteed next year with Quickly, with RJ, with Grady, whomever cast of that we have. There is a world now, just in terms of fit, where if you told me we're going to have VJ, Ingram, and Scotty moving forward, I'm like, okay, I can see the fit and I can see the talent, how maybe those 3 can coexist because they bring different skill sets. So I can see that potentially working.
So we and I just want to say because people are asking about his defense and stuff like that, we will definitely, trust me, there's plenty to talk about with the defense. Oh my goodness, let's just put it this way. At the beginning of the year, and I said no, I think he's better than this, but someone told me, well, he's just Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle was a damn good defender. Okay, I'm just gonna say that Okay, he was a damn good defender.
Yeah, there's no debating that.
Right.
It's the
But
offense.
you know why you're saying that, right?
I do know why they're saying that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I digress. Just to get into it, right now he's shooting 35.8 on the entire year. However, from deep, but I want to add something. At the beginning of the year, he was shooting something like 32 or lower.
Late
percent?
high 20s.
High 20s. So let's say, was it 28, 29%?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, on 4 attempts a game. His attempts since then have gone up. And not only have his attempts gone up, but he's shooting, as of late, to raise it to 35.8%. He's shooting around 39%. So all the worries about his three, I remember a coach said, well, the ball's not going in, but I like his form.
Yep. Form's fine. Mechanics are fine.
Pretty good free throw shooter, too.
That, too. 77.9%. 15 points, 5 rebounds. That's actually a sneaky thing about him, which I don't, you'd have to tell me about Wade at Marquette. But he's a really good, tenacious offensive rebounder from the guard, which we don't really have.
Right. Wade's always been throughout his career a very good rebounding guard. Like, that's why I said to me, Wade's game, he looks much more, except he's got the 3-point shot that Wade never really had.
To me, it's Wade because of the defense. Because I've seen some of those chase down blocks and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I see the Wade thing.
Yeah.
Because Wade was an incredible defender. People don't remember, but like Wade was talked about as like the best 2-guard in a league when Kobe was there because of his defense.
Yeah. But that offensive first step, that's what Wade had to, because the fact that Wade was not a 3-point shooter and you played off and you still were getting beat off the dribble. And I'll tell you this right now, there's probably about maybe 2 guys that I can think ever at a 2-guard spot that I can think that actually is it can split a double team better than Dwayne Wade. There's not too many.
Yeah, the double team stuff, he's gotten better, to your point, but he's like, there's certain things that he needs to get better at, but I think he will. So there's that. Decently, he shares the ball, assist rate of about 20%, steal rate 4% of the time, block rate 2% of the time. Remember, he's a guard. So I'm going to actually bring up Cason Wallace's stats. He is not Cason Wallace. They're different types of defenders. And I think that Cason Wallace has a slightly lower center of gravity. But in terms of being able to, part of it is like how Baylor uses him defensively is they put their guards in a place where they don't have to chase over screens. So you don't see a lot of him fighting over the screens like you would with the Cason Wallace. So it's not really the most fair comparison. But so he has remember, his steal rate is 3.9%. Cason's was 3.7. Okay. Now Cason has a better block rate, I believe. No, actually, that is not true. He has double the block, almost. No, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but he has a 2.3% block rate. Cason's is 1.6.
Your comparison though isn't bad. They have similar shot forms, similar builds. BJ's bigger. That's about it, but I don't think they're that far off from a comparison.
Yeah. Offensively, I think VJ has much more upside.
He's got more upside. Yeah, I just mean Cason's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
He is.
But like last night is like, well, I say the last couple of weeks I watching Baylor a little bit. You're starting to see it more and more. And I know in this case, Drew gets a lot of grief in this case here. Shout out to my man Tyler. I know he and Coach Drew have an interesting relationship. How he sees Drew and how he deals with these guards. But, he ramped them up slowly. And initially played only 25 minutes a game. I don't think he was starting initially at the beginning of the season. Because literally his highlight of the first week of the year, he pretty much put like a body bag for poor young Hughes' son in this case here. I mean, they're still writing out the outline for that chalk outline there he put on him against Gonzaga. That's how he got introduced this season. Where it is like, oh my gosh, I don't think he was starting at that point, but he ramped up for the 20 and 25 minutes he's getting. I was telling folks like, hold on, watch and see when he starts ramping up to getting minutes like Flag and the rest of the guys. I would love to see what he looks like. To your point, Coach, from the beginning of this season. I mean, the calendar year. Where he's getting about 30, 31 minutes a night. I suspect that average point per game is probably close to 20 a game because he put up some big games. Even last night he had 21, I think, when it was all said and done, or 20. And here's the thing now they're doing with him late in the season. Last night's game, I don't know how much you stuck in the last minute or two. They got down to 2. He actually had a chance to tie the game up. And they're putting the ball in his hands late. He scored last 5 points or something like that. So they're putting the ball in his hands late. And he's fearless with it. He hit 3, got the line for a couple free throws, hit another layup or something like that. Like he's not thinking twice, and there's a demeanor about him just from a pure Raptors perspective. Like he commands a certain type of respect how he handles himself. He's all about what we always talk about in this case, the briefcase. He's all about that. He ain't coming here fun. He ain't coming here how he stuff. He's all business. Yeah, we need more dudes like that on this team.
Yes.
We do.
To address Will's question of how is his rim pressure, he gets to the rim at will because he can absorb that contact and kind of truck through it. The one thing is that sometimes he leaves his feet a little bit early at times, and sometimes, like I said, he drives himself into trouble, and so there's opportunities for him to rein in some of that and be able to get to the foul line more than he has for someone who drives the amount that he does. But that's workable. I wrote down in my notes this, and it's a thing that I keep bringing up. It's easier to rein a guy in than have to rev a guy up. Mm-hmm. Anytime you hear motor issues, that is something that it's challenging to not impossible, but it's challenging to overcome.
Preach.
Yeah. But beyond,
oh, sorry.
What beyond had said just before we answer this question, when we spoke to Tyler from No Ceilings, and Beyond made a good point. A lot of these recruiting agencies, they focus a lot on the offense, the 3-point percentage, the paint touches, the field goal percentage. Can they pass? Can they rebound? And that's why Ace became a little polarizing and stuff like that. My point is about VJ here. They don't focus a lot on the defensive end, and that's what makes VJ different than some of the top prospects per se. Not to say they don't play defense, because we know Flag plays defense. Ace Bailey plays defense. He had 3 blocks today the last time that I checked. That's before the game ended. So some of these guys certainly play defense, but it's VJ's defense that really stands out. Like, he can guard out on the perimeter. He can block shots. He can switch 1 through 3, definitely. Maybe on smaller 4s, he might be able to as well. I just think with VJ, that Dwayne Wade type defense that Beyond said, it really stands out. And last time I checked, I'll just say this in terms of the Raptors, our perimeter defense, it ain't that good.
Well, that's been the dilemma with the Raptors. Their best defenders are the guys that are coming off the bench.
I think he's also good at trying. You can see he's trying things, and he's good enough to try things because he has that athleticism. So it's not like when I say he's trying things, he doesn't look like Poku out there, okay? But he's trying things within himself.
That's an interesting trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember people were like, "Oh man, Poku," and I remember people were like, "We trade Siakam for Poku." I was like, "What y'all talking about?" I was like,
I want to know who these mystery people you be talking to with these crazy trades.
I'm not gonna name any names, because I'm not trying to put anyone on blast here. Okay,
you're flipping burgers right now. What the hell are we doing?
Very diplomatic.
Yeah. I am. So
run for prime
minister. Yeah, in a couple years, right? Yeah. Let's just answer this question before I get myself into trouble.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey. Okay. It what? Okay. See. I was trying to save you, my man.
Sorry.
I was trying to save you. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Andre? I respect the man's willing to step up and say, "Yo, it was me." I
Yeah.
respect. I
Stood
respect.
on business with that one.
Business, man. Poku's your man. Poku's your man, man. Go down with the ship. Okay.
Go to Shake Shack right now. Get a Poku burger, man.
Yeah, what was that question that was up?
The question that was
Besides
up.
Cooper, who else do you think is the best fit for the Raptors?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, yeah, Cooper's Cooper. I mean, it's hard. He's in a tier of his own. This is a good debate.
Yeah.
Because it depends on a lot of things. It depends on how they approach development and coaching, and team building from there. In terms of the best, like, plug and play fits, in terms of like who I wouldn't have to worry about, I would put it in ranking of Harper, VJ, Ace after that. I just like, that's how I would rank it. That isn't to say those are the best people. I'm saying who would be the best fit that you don't have to worry. People who would have the biggest impact right away, and it would just pop. I think.
I say something controversial.
You think it's VJ?
I would say it would be. I would say probably, if I'm being honest about it, with the remaining ones, if you just look at how the team's constructed, it'd probably be Malawatch.
He'd be mine number 2.
Yeah, Malawatch, DJ, Ace, then Harper.
Mine would be Malawatch, VJ, maybe Harper.
The reason why I don't have Malawatch quite as high there is because I think that while he does have a perceived role, I think that the offense might need a lot of work, and he's been held back by that Duke system. And so for him to be utilized in the way that you are suggesting and that he might be, I think that there is a lot of work that needs to be done there. And
well,
he might.
I'm suggesting he just plays like Derek Lively. Just go out there and just run the rim and just go and get some dunks and get some rebounds, son. And that alone.
Who's passing him lobs? Because we don't have Luka.
Well, I'm sure in this case
we have IQ.
Well, I'm sure in this case with to be fair, Sky can do it once in a while. In this case, he's not great at, but he can do it once in a while. Brandon Ingram might surprise us. We don't know yet.
Ingram is the wild card, but I mean, we haven't seen him in this uniform yet, so it's hard to know.
RJ's been okay in the pick and roll too. He's been okay.
Yeah, RJ's been okay, and I think it's one of those things we don't know because we don't have anyone that's capable of doing it.
So I think that's the key to it. We don't have anyone.
But my thing is like, you need a game manager if you're going to develop a big man, and that's where I'm like, I want someone who can become an engine of an offense more so than we have.
Shed.
Yeah, Shed could, but he won't. He won't be in the starting lineup.
Well, the rate he's going at, man, he might be splitting minutes with someone else if he's doing this rate. That man, we got that man out there on a cot or something. That man, he costs us games right now.
Well, remember there was one of Shed's friends or whatever posted on this channel. What he said, he said, "That's your future starting point guard." Put some respect.
Hey,
this is how to pronounce his name. It's not Sheed, it's Shed.
Exactly. And let me
tell you, like, all right, my bad.
My bad. I'm a Shed. I'm a Shed guy from college. I like Shed this case here. When the deal happened, they made the deal for him. It's like, hey man, you got a good one here, Raptors. You got that one right. Check that box off. But as I said before, on the other side of it, I say, hey man, I got 2 secret weapons on this team, man. One on the bench and one on the floor. And I would like to play my man more often.
Yes. Now, defensively, here's the philosophy difference between me and the Malawatch crew is I look at it this way. If I have good perimeter defenders, I put less pressure on my rim, in terms of defensively, so that I don't it's not that I don't need rim protection, but I can put that off. And I can find it down the road.
Well, that's the thing, right?
So that's why I like VJ.
Right. Well, I took Jordan's question literally. See, you were to best fit. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean that's my philosophy. Going back to what I said a few minutes ago, I'm looking for big swings. And sometimes big swings
Right.
don't fit the quote fit. The best fit, arguably based on how the roster set up, might be Malwash. That don't mean it's the best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way I read it.
Right. If you're to tell me who I want to draft, which order I want them in, that thing might be in reverse. Right? Malwatch would be the last one on my list because I want the biggest swing. So to Jordan's question, I'm just answering his question the way he's phrased it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay,
But
that's fair.
That's not who I want, though.
The biggest swing is really probably Ace Bailey. I think we, is there consensus there, or outside, or of course outside of Cooper? We're still trying to answer his.
It's a toss up between him and Edgecombe.
Yeah,
I think those are the two that where if you get it right, if it really ends up being right. We talked about Dwayne Wade. It might be, and for Bailey, it could be Kevin Durant 2.0.
It could be Paul George, KD, something like that.
So, if it gets right.
So this is where I find. So this is my counter to this.
What's the risk?
I think that there's no risk because you already have a guy. Like I keep telling people, I see Brandon Ingram, but better and younger. So you already have the blueprint for him here on the roster right there. We know Brandon Ingram is going to usually miss 15, 20 games a season. Okay. Number one. Number two, he's only guaranteed to be here for 2 years. If he opts in on his player option, so be it. If he doesn't, or if he re-ups, cool. But there's a world where it's like, hey, we really like what Brandon Ingram is showing us, but Brandon Ingram at age 30, we don't know if his knees are going to hold up potentially like other players would.
Yo, man. Okay. I hear what you're saying. And you are being, as the good host as you are, being diplomatic with Will. But Will, my man, I got to challenge
I got to try, man.
Yeah, I got to challenge you on this, man. Okay. When did we get in a world in basketball now where it's offensive in this case where a guy could put the ball in the hoop? Like, when did that become offensive? It's like, well, I don't know, It's like, like what's going on here? The man averages 20 a game in college. I work out my beyond math in this case. That interprets to a 25 score in the NBA. What are we doing here, people? Oh, I don't know. A guy 6'10" that shoots the ball in this case here like he's a guard and can put it on the floor like a guard. Yeah, we don't want that on our team. And plays not only competent defense, but pretty damn good defense. Like his defense are above average defensive numbers. It's just not Cooper Flag level, but it's pretty damn good. And we're out here saying, oh no, we don't want that. We'll rather have the Xerox copy of him in this case here and play him till the wheels fall off on his body.
I think he has tools to defend. I don't think he's been put in the best position with that roster, nor has the other guy.
No, not either.
So it's hard. It's what it reminds me of. Okay, this is really harsh, but it's like the G League Elite,
right?
Was it or Ignite? Sorry.
Yeah.
And
Thompson twins.
No. No. The G League program.
Yeah.
But they were from the Amazon thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Elite.
Yeah. Right.
And I remember that last year, everyone was like, "Man, these guys look bad." And then you realize no one's defending.
Right.
Like it's just a blank show, right?
Right.
And it's like I can't blame the first year of the Ignite was much better because they actually had NBA vets alongside the guys to kind of shepherd them through. So there's shout out to Amir Johnson, Jared Jack, right? Former Raptors, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so
but to finish the story, Kenyon, don't give yourself credit on this. Finish the story. The two guys that were the two focal points of that team are now playing additional minutes on two teams that might make the playoffs.
That's true.
Right?
And there were two guys that I really liked as well.
Me too. So
you're talking about Matas, right?
Of course. Yeah. So all of a sudden we're like, oh, let's finish the story. So those guys.
I did try to tell people.
Right. So we don't want 6'10", 6'11" guys that can shoot.
And Matas is good enough that I think Billy Donovan came out about 2 weeks ago and said that they're trying to reorientate their offense around him to just see what the guy has, because he's shown that in his first year that it's worthy of, hey, you know what?
So Will coming back here is a better defensive context here.
I I think they did.
Okay, in a better defensive context, he's a fit. I don't think it's there yet. Okay, Will, I'll bounce back on this. The threshold ain't that high on this team. All right, my 9-year-old probably can play better defense than these guys right now, so I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's like, oh, geez, he's on a team with the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Like, what the hell are we talking about? He's got to worry about playing with Tayshaun Prince. Like, come on, guys.
We definitely aren't.
What are we talking about? Come on.
What I will say is I'll go back to my original thing. Depending on the coaching philosophy that is approached next year, are we approaching it with a Delaney defensive mindset?
Right, yeah, Delaney.
Because if we are, I don't think anyone's gonna look good defensively. Right? Like it's just like absolutely not.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to be.
Just look at the talent and forget about all the other stuff, man. Because with the team that we have right now, with the team we got right now, to Kenny's point, with the coach we're dealing with, which is the band of misfits in this case, like Misfit Toys, when you watch Rudolph the Reindeer, we got that on our bench. You know, the band
Toy Story was a good movie.
You know,
I'll just say
Red Reindeer with the band Misfit Toys, we got the Jack in the Box that won't pop up and stuff like that. That's what we got on our bench. That's what we got on our bench right now. You know, Rudolph shows us like, what the hell is this we got here? That's what we got. Okay? And then you throw in the guys that we got on the team in this case here, where we got some of the worst defenders in the league playing right now on the roster, playing 30-plus minutes a game. And you worry about Ace Bailey? Come on, man. Like, come on, Will.
Well, from what I've seen from Ace, just some of the Rutgers games I've watched, highlights, but the games I've watched. His man defense is fine. Now, like when his help defense at times, yeah, they're a little suspect at times. But when I see him guarding someone, he's just fine. Like, he's going to be an above average, I think, defender, and he's got a block and a half a game. I think he's averaging. Like Ace is playing on defense. He's sometimes playing center for his team. He's no center.
Okay, I just want to just say, let's bring it back to VJ because Bjorn, you made a good point, and it is the VJ show. So let's talk about VJ.
Will get worked up on a Sunday night here trying to relax the March break. You got Will here talking this stuff here, man. Come on, man.
Let's talk about
we got
VJ's
wings or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, man. So in terms of his defense, I wrote down some notes. So yeah, his second jump is very springy, and that's important when you're going for different rebounds. But also the other thing, there's just so much to talk about with him because it's just like his body control. But the way he flips his hips, there's no problem. He has a very solid center of gravity. It's not too low, not too high. Just right, Goldilocks, in a sense. The athleticism on some of these blocks, he's literally like going like this so he doesn't hit his head on the flipping backboard. That happened last night, and it's not the first time. He's done it like at least 2 or 3 times, like recently.
Well, yeah,
recently,
outside the free throw line.
I'm not even talking. I'm talking about a block. The block was crazy.
That's the thing, but
like he's just like this, so he misses the hitting it like cocking his head.
You make this point all the time, right? And I mean, you got the science behind it. I'm just gonna kind of go layman style, but like you mention this all the time, and it's such a great point. Is like some guys are just naturally gifted athletically on one side of the court, right? Like let's say our buddy OG, but he's the perfect example of this, right? OG can look like he's swimming like water like a fish on defense. Yes, looking smooth as ever. And honestly, if you're wondering, like he's got rusted parts, looks like a robot. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, he looks like as you say, the piano on his back leg.
Right. It's like the same guys like switching on defense and stepping over screens. It's the same dude. It's the same dude. But to your point, with BJ, it's the same guy on both sides. There's no Clark Kent Superman situation here, guy. It's Superman all the time. We're Kal-El all the time, baby.
which brings up a good question. Yes, I actually have. He had a really cool interview I think it was with one of these sneaker magazines, and he was just talking about why he likes certain sneakers. Which, by the way, he really likes the Sabrinas. So shout out to the Sabrinas as an underrated shoe, which is the shoe that he actually wears. So that that would be the first thing. Beyond, you were going to say something?
Well, just one thing about that. I have a friend, because just for folks that don't know, he's from the Bahamas. He's Bahamian. I have a friend that's Bahamian, and he's told me that the family in this case here is like a hardworking, high achievers type of family. So like work ethic is not going to be an issue with this dude. So like we don't have to worry about this. And if he's out there just getting his 2K on all year long, he can be good. And tell you. To tell you right now,
he's certainly not Ayton from that perspective. So yeah, and I think the other thing too is when I saw him on the court, even yesterday, there was times where he'd be on the weak side of the court offensively, but he's calling out where passes should go. So he dished off a pass, went out to the corner. He's like, "Yo, you pass there." Like he communicates on both ends of the ball. He's tenacious as well. Like he really takes pride in defense. I mean, Andre, he's Caribbean. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yesterday too. I'll just speak to his offense. That's Houston team that they played yesterday. As Beyond said earlier, low comparison. They play like the 2004 Pistons. They really get after it. I think they might be the best defensive team in the nation. And you had VJ kind of splitting the hedge and doing like a Dwayne Wade crossover against a hedge. So that's pretty good if you're able to do that against the number one rated defense in college basketball. I mean, Jamal Shead comes from that program. Pretty good defender.
Yeah, and he has a certain awareness. I think of him, for you Star Trek fans will understand what I'm saying here, man. He's a lot like the Borg. Like he finds a way, he'll get information, process the information, and he will adapt, right? So like he's figuring out things as the season is going on. Like at the beginning of the season, he's pretty much just a slasher. You get off of some garbage off of other folks, stuff like that. Then he started adding like, okay, the handles started getting a little bit better. Started getting line drives in this case, which is something that he was always pretty good at. Cool. Then he started moving towards, okay, started to extend it down past the arc, shoot the three, starting to get better with that. Now to coach's point now is like something we didn't see him do it even in January. Split the double. It's like, oh, he's doing that now. So like he's adapting literally by the month.
The guy, and we were all watching this last night, he jumped from the side of the key and dunked it. He took off from the side of the key, outside the key, I should say. And he dunked it. And
he was in the air so long, like his pants flapped with the air. like you could see the pants just like.
And it was off. I think it was off a steal as well.
Oh, folks, and all I say is Raptor fans, man, just forget about trying to win any games for any nonsense to play in. Just think of that. Like my goodness, imagine watching that for 82 games next year.
Well, this is a question I want to ask you guys, and the audience can certainly respond to this. Lottery comes, Raptors have the number 4 pick in the draft, and then they select BJ Edgecombe. What happens then next year? Meaning, if he starts, who's gone, do you think? Or does he start off the bench? I'm guessing both of you would say no, better not, especially you, Beyond. So what happens? Raptors get him next year. What happens?
Coach, you've seen the you've seen the which Batman is it with the Joker where he lights the thing on fire?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Thank you. Sorry, I'm bad with movies tonight. So the Dark Knight, and there's the gangster scene, and he leaves the pen.
Yeah.
Okay, and he does the magic trick thing. And Coach, I'm not going to make you do the impression, but you do a good impression of it. Here's the thing, okay? We could do the same thing with the basketball. Listen, you want to be on this, on the court. Y'all fight amongst yourselves. I'll be back in an hour. And that's how I would do it. I'm serious because it doesn't matter. You start the guy.
Yeah.
unless one of those guys can play defense like him, I mean, ideally, I would probably lean towards keeping RJ over IQ because I think he's better at managing things and he would be great off the bench. But he's the easier contract to move, so more than likely RJ's gone. So yeah, I will also say, so I was gonna post something. This is from shout out to No Ceilings, but they posted these stats before a little while ago, and this is at a point in the season, and they had 2 players, and the question is, who would you pick? So I'm just gonna put that. So sorry, I didn't come out quite the way that I wanted to, but the first is player A and then player B. Who would you pick between those two?
Well, I think you probably would want to pick player A.
Okay. So you're going to pick player A.
But I'm taking a guess that's not who I'm thinking it is.
Who do you think it is?
Is this current stats?
These are old stats versus a current player.
These are 2 different players.
They're 2 different players.
So one player's in the NBA?
One player's in the NBA, but this was their stats in college.
Oh, this was stats in college. Well, I know I think I know who that is.
Who is it?
Huh? I think that's Anthony Edwards.
Nope, that's Donovan Mitchell, and that's B. A is VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah. Oh, A is.
So
yeah, folks. Yeah.
if he can split double teams, we might have a guy on our hands.
Well, Donovan Mitchell's a pretty good one too. We could go all-time double team splitter, and he's ended
oh
some
my goodness, I have not seen too many guys split double teams like him, except for Wade. Actually, funny enough.
Yeah, the only 2. Really
both the guys when they split, boy, you're a big that's around the rim. You better be ducking for cover because you might be next on the list.
Right. So yeah, I think his defense is incredible. I'm gonna be partial to my man Kaysen, but his defense is pretty it's pretty high up there.
But okay, my second part of my question though was I'm assuming RJ's gone if you have VJ. Okay. So Grady Dick still goes to the bench if you got VJ?
Yep.
Fine. All right.
I'm sorry. The only way we're getting VJ to Audrey's point is if you move up. The only way you get any of these guys is if you move up. We will eventually get to guys that we don't have to move up for, but we're going in sequential order. And right now, you're not going to get him unless he moves up. If you're getting a top 3, 4, or I guess this is a low chance, but 5 pick, that person is more than likely starting unless it's Maluwatch.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's some
even
interesting conversations they'll have.
Sorry?
Between Grady. There'll be some interesting conversations they're going to have between Grady, RJ, VJ. I'm just assuming that these guys are here.
Yeah.
Jacoby, whomever it may be.
I mean, there's a world where, okay, if it was me, I would probably put, I put VJ. I would put, there's an argument of either Jacoby or Grady, especially in preseason. Just play around with it, right? And then you obviously have Scotty. I'm running out of, Ingram and Pirtle. Boom. And I just want to see what that looks like. Just curious.
Yeah. Well, Ingram, Scotty, and Pirtle for me, that I'm assuming the Pirtle's here next year. That they're not going to change. It's the backcourt that I'm not too sure about.
This is the reason why we need to kind of move the brush. And that means starting with those 2 ex-Knickerbockers and move them off the team. Because I would prefer, if it's up to me and I was GM or president of basketball operations, those 2 guys would be on new homes. They told them, man, expansion comes and Seattle Supersonics and the Las Vegas Spades, or wherever the hell they're going to call themselves. It's been fun. It's been fun, IQ. Adios, amigo. Like, we're done. I'm moving that dude off in the expansion draft. Too sweet, and we're done with that. RJ, hey, good Canadian boy, sorry, man. We got to move on from that too, because as far as I'm concerned, the future is the three dudes you just mentioned there. That's the future. Insert 2026 pick. That's the fourth part of the process. You know, now, as far as the Barnes Brigade folks, you can take it or leave it. To quote a great player, you can fit in, you can fit out. Okay, I'll leave it at that. That's it. Is my team I'm running, because as far as I'm concerned, it'll be that pick, that top 4 pick this year. The same dudes you just mentioned there, Walter and Grady, and it'll be the pick next year, and that's my nucleus.
I can see Jacoby taking a big jump next year, similar to what Grady took this year, and Jacoby's a little safer on defense than Grady is right now. At least teams don't attack him quite like they do Grady.
Yeah. I have a sneaky suspicion Grady might end up being better next year than people think, because I think Grady's going to fill out more. And I think half the problem with Grady right now is his size. He just needs to get stronger on both ends, for an offensive perspective and a defensive perspective. And if he gets that right.
I hear you, but the other thing is his foot speed. And to go back to VJ, he ain't have no problems with foot speed.
No, I agree with that. But I think there is a world that if Grady fills out the way you think he's going to fill out, in a certain world, you could play him at small forward.
Well, that's where I think his eventual That is the event, because remember when he first, I didn't mean to make the racial comparison, but I did say, he could be, if he fills out, I said he could be similar to Gordon Hayward, minus the fact that Gordon Hayward was really good defensively. Honestly, people forget. I don't think he's ever going to get to Gordon Hayward's level defensively.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, but he could be a plus defender, as in not a below average defender, not someone who's getting targeted, and that should be the goal. If he can become an average defender, then that's good. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. I think this is an interesting point. On one hand, I agree. On the other hand, I will say that Battle is a better shooter than Grady at one type of shot. The set shot. The second that it's not set, it is it goes from 85% to 10% chance.
Form's too slow.
And also too, man, these type of comparisons are always without context. Let me tell you, folks, ain't no one in the NBA is out here scouting and marking, Jameson Battle when they go in the battle the next day. He's the outlet. He's always gonna have the wide open shot. By the time we got to about game 20 of this season, Grady was a marked man. All right, go and watch how they play Grady. They put the best defenders on Grady. Yeah,
because he went from scoring back-to-back 30-point games to all of a sudden they start paying attention to him. And then again, this is where I say it's partially on him. It's partially on him getting bigger. It's also partially on the coaching staff to get him the ball in better spots and in better ways. So it has to be a synergy between the two. And right now we're only really optimizing one player at the detriment of other players on this team.
Of course, but it's also, can he get the ball, right? He was actually a first or second option early this season, and now he's the fifth option some nights.
Yeah, and that goes back to the point of you have to have a coaching staff that prioritizes him, not prioritize making Scotty and IQ work as a tandem over actually running a game. If we're developing, the development should be
look what you make me do. Look what you made me do. I gotta defend Darko. Look what you make me do here, man. I gotta defend Darko. Holy smokes. I can't believe we're going first Will in this thing.
No. Did you see the game?
No, it's not the point.
If you didn't see the game, then there's no defending this man.
No.
Man called a damn timeout.
Here's one to defend him. The damn front office put him in this position. All right?
He took the job. Everyone else said, no, I'm good.
I'm not saying that. If the front office is the one that's dictating, in this case here, hey, we want Scotty and Quickly to be the guys, in this case, to do whatever they're going to do. And that's not on him. So he's okay, I'm going to do what you want, boss. That's the problem. If you say he's a yes man, so he's following orders to save the job. I can't knock Darko on that.
Fair enough.
Right. In this case, right, Walter and Grady should get priority. But if we got force feed IQ to prove that he's worth $175 million, which he's not, then we got to do things like this. We got to force to prove in this case Scotty can handle the ball.
Listen, I will say this: as much as I don't agree with everything with Nick Nurse, at least Nick Nurse would say it straight and be like, "Boss, I'm tired."
Right. Well, yes, right. Because what would happen with Nick Nurse is we would come to a head with this real quick, and Nick Nurse would not play him that way.
Yeah, and then he would say it in the media, he'd be like, "Yo, basically, this guy's trash."
Pretty much, Nick Nurse would say something like, "Oh, he'll come and say some folksy type of Midwestern swing and say,
I don't know. He was so harsh about players.
Just look for the guys that won the play tonight. Just had a little hunger. Just had a hunch. He'll do that type of thing in these simple Nick Nurse ways, and that's how you get around it. But we know the Nick Nurse code and what that meant. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Dark. You know me and Darko. I call him my secret weapon. He's my
Scotty also wants to play this way, by the way, too.
Well, I mean, once again, you don't want to get thrown out in the cornfield. So yeah, you're right. Darko don't want to be at the cornfield like a jack in the box. He don't want to do that.
That's why I said earlier, the coaching job that he's doing right now, it's almost masterful of trying to do both. But he's got to listen to his bosses at the end of the day. They want him to lose.
Right. They want him to lose, and but he's trying not to lose the team at the same time.
Exactly. Right. That's why it's basically a lose-lose situation, but that's the goal. It's to lose.
Right. Which goes back to my original point when you guys were discussing this. We probably should move on to what we think about the playoffs. But what all my original point was, we came to the discussion about Barnes and all that type of stuff with how he's playing, and why I say it's absurd is that a player in this case, from a standpoint of a resume, for the resume he has, he should not be having this much juice. Quite honest. Guys that have that much juice in an organization are like multi-time All-Stars. Guys that have MVP behind their name. Not guys in this case that just went one All-Star as an injury reserve. And in this case here, had Rookie of the Year 4 years ago and getting juice like he's like Giannis.
No, why do you have to diss Malcolm Brogdon like that?
What, MCW?
Oh, go there. No, that's nasty work, man.
Hey, he's the Rookie of the Year too. I'm just saying.
Before we get into before we get into it, I think it's very, very important to point out one thing. Okay, and that is that Philly won today, barely, but they did win, and so for that reason, we have a little bit of reprieve. We have a cushion. Brooklyn has joined us, losing 7 in a row. We hold on to the 5th best odds currently. Having this is another thing before we get into the playoff stuff. I saw some people, post some nonsense. Okay, if you are going to talk about lottery odds and you're going to talk about the math, know the math. I see people, the math ain't mathing. So people, I saw someone basically call people stupid, suggesting that people don't understand the math and that the lottery odds are flattened and they only posted the first overall pick and didn't post the cumulative chances of getting into the top 4.
Oh, boy. Hey man, you're gonna soon start to put posts out there like how you have cigarettes, man. It's like this is bad for your health. They have the morning.
There's just certain things that bother me, and like not knowing math and then talking about it like you know math. It's just like
I tell you, boy, it takes a special.
As my dad would say, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yes, yes, I've heard that one in a minute. There's some serious humorous when you pull that one off, man.
Brazen. Absolutely brazen.
But these days, in this world, man, I've seen stranger things than that, so I'll just leave it at that.
Like, that's the first thing. The second thing is that people are like, well, so you think that getting a top pick is going to say, no, I don't think that getting a singular pick is going to help us. I know I don't want to tank for 10 years in a row. I'm saying that they already got the vet. That is Ingram, right? So they already got Ingram, okay? Now we have to pray every single day before I go to bed, okay, that we get a top 4 pick. Because how else are you going to get talent in a place where if you're saying that, you're probably the same person saying that Toronto doesn't get free agents. Well, if we don't get free agents, can we at least get a pick that we control for 7 to 8 years? Like, what are you asking for?
Right.
As much as I hate tanking, we do need another big time talent.
Like,
And I
just
get
1
everyone
year.
with the
Just
concept.
1 year, coach.
Yes, no, you're right. And that's with Ingram, the trade with Ingram, it's done next year. You're going for it next year. When I say go for it, I guess you're trying to get a top 6. You're probably going to be 8th.
Yeah. You hope.
Hope, assuming everybody's healthy.
Is that guaranteed? I don't know.
I know it's that East Coast kindness of yours, coach. I love it. I love it though, man.
Like, coach.
I think coach said it. Coach says, we need another big time talent. I wonder where the first big time talent is. We ain't got one on the team yet.
I'm just gonna put it this way, right? You could have a situation where injuries occur. I mean, I saw someone suggest that we go and trade for AD. What kind of nuts? Like, I don't know how we're getting AD. I don't know why the Mavs who just traded for AD are gonna do AD. So that, I don't know.
Well, if you get Ingram next year to play 62 games, consider that a success.
Exactly. So, but okay, apparently we're gonna get AD as well. So we're gonna have Ingram, AD. We might as well get Jeremy Grant while we're at it. Let's toss in the team all injury with Jonathan Isaacs, who yes he can defend at an all NBA level, all defense level, but he's not healthy.
I thought you were going to go with Joel Embiid there for a second. That's when I
might as well get that too. He's definitely going to be available. Hey, Andre, there's your IQ deal.
Why?
IQ for Embiid?
Why would Philadelphia want that deal?
They wouldn't. I'm just saying, if you want a center, there's your center.
Pirtle and Barrett. There you go.
The worst contract in the league right now.
Yeah. See, Will's saying trade for I think. Sorry, I have to scroll back now. Trade for Booker. The thing is I don't think that there's a Booker deal, because if anyone's going to trade for Booker, first of all, the obvious team is going to be Houston, because they have all the Suns picks. But yeah, I just yeah. Point being is, we're in a place where there's only really one path, and the path has presented itself, and there's no other option. We're not going to make the play-in because we're too far back from the play-in. We're not. So at that point, I guess, yeah, you play for pride, but the season's done.
Yeah, we could make the play-in, but Darko has his orders. You are not to do that, and I understand it.
Yeah,
as much as I understand it.
This is a good point. So, okay, let's go for KD at age 36. He'll be 37 next year to help Scottie win a championship.
Oh my gosh.
Build with what you have next year. Have Ingram, Scottie, and Pirtle. There's your front court. Figure out who you're going to take. You got some young pieces in Grady and Jacoby and Shed. Shed's become a really good piece, valuable piece for this team. Like, when that Houston guy said he might start for us at some point, I can see his point now.
I will. I'm not. I know you're just saying it in a sarcastic manner, but it's just like it's just. There are concerning things. That's all I will say.
Shed, Jacoby, and Grady for a bench next year is not bad. I'm assuming if RJ is still here.
The consolidation trade would be interesting, because it's like there is either a consolidation trade, or technically you kick the can down the road. You consolidate and get like a bad contract, I guess, and then you kick the can down the road. So there are options. Is there a world, just because Masai likes to look at things in the past, and this is going to scare people, is there a world where Masai looks at Ayton?
No.
My goodness.
Just say what Will Lou had shared the other day about RJ.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying about RJ's efficiencies have gone up. RJ's become a better player each year that he's been here, the half a season last year and this year. Everything has gone up. We know RJ's professional. Love the demeanor, the whole Canadian thing, even though the organization doesn't want to promote him, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
You could go into next year, let's say Malawach is the pick. Malawach then comes in off the bench, and then you have Shed, Jacoby, Grady, and Malawach. 9 guys right there. That's not bad. That's building with something there.
Now insert VJ because it's VJ's show. And now what do you do?
That's fine too.
Coach is just putting out a spread for everyone. You gotta love Nova Scotians.
Hey, man. This is the VJ show. I guess I did partially forget about that for a second.
Yeah. But no, I hear you. So in terms of the playoff picture, let's look at the actual playoff picture. Let's start with the East because that's just the easiest one. So currently, we have Cleveland number 1, Celtics number 2. Then after that, you have the Knicks at 40 wins, and then there's a gap. You have basically all within like one game of each other would be Pacers, Bucks. Sorry, I should say it in order. Bucks, Pacers, and the Pistons. So currently, you are looking at a in terms of the how the games would work out if things ended today. Cleveland is playing the 8th seed. Celtics is playing the 7th seed. Knicks are facing the Pistons, which would be a very interesting matchup. And then you have obviously the Pacers facing the Bucks. In the play-in side of things, you have the Hawks are flying as high as they can, based on the strength of their team right now. With the 7th seed, 8th seed is the Magic. They've fallen from grace. 9 seed are the Heat, who do not own their pick this year, by the way. And the 10 seed are the Bulls. Philly is in hot pursuit of the Bulls to the best of their ability, but they are probably not going to catch the Bulls.
That's sad.
It is sad.
How many games is Philly behind Chicago? 5, right? 4?
Yes, the Bulls have 26 wins. Philly has 21.
I give Billy Donovan credit, man. To scratch up 26, he probably going to scratch up about 30-something wins on this team, man. That's pretty damn good for that roster, considering all the flips and trades and stuff they made over the year and all the stuff we're still around Levine, not sure when Lonzo's going to come back or not and stuff like that. Like, that's a good work there, man. I got to give him credit.
He can coach.
He can coach, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Philly has 22. That's right. As of today.
Cut half a game on it.
Yeah.
I think right now I'll just go start with the playing guys. I would, if I'm one of the top 2 seeds, I am praying that Orlando's not in that 8th seed or 7th seed.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Yeah.
Not saying in this case, is it possible Orlando could beat them? Not likely Boston, but Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland barely escaped them last year. So, like, I wouldn't be. But the key thing is like the Suggs situation. He's out for the season.
Who is this?
Suggs.
Yeah.
That's the thing. See, if Suggs was healthy, then I would say, or at least back at some point to play the playoffs, the play-in, I would say, okay, I could get dangerous. But if Suggs is not playing, then it's like they might give him a little tussle because the thing with Orlando is too, you're the type of team that you want to come out as healthy as possible after playing them because Orlando's gonna get they're gonna get their pound of flesh. That's right. Like you might win the series. You might be 2 guys down by the time the series is over with. So like,
yes,
you don't really want to play Orlando either way. Like you can play some team like Atlanta.
I will say though, without Suggs, the physical nature of them is a little different.
Yeah, true, but they still rough up there. I mean, heck, we almost choked out RJ the other night. We talked about that. And then Jacoby,
it's true.
And Jacoby took one a couple minutes later. Like,
that is true. I mean, again, like their offense is to Will's point. Their offense does stink, and their offense is not in a place that it's just not good, right?
No,
but I mean, they have always been a defensive team. We'll see how that takes them. What is the most interesting matchup for your Pistons? And what is the most interesting? I mean, I actually like how things are shaping up right now. Because like to me, I think the Bucks versus the Pacers, that is very interesting.
That is juicy.
Right? There's like a little bit of recent history there.
Yes.
If it ended up, I mean, I don't see the Pacers falling down, but if they did fall down and end up facing the Knicks. Who do you think would be a more interesting matchup? I still think that the more evenly or whatever kind of the rematch is the Bucks versus the Pacers. But would you rather see the Knicks versus the Pacers again?
From a Pacers perspective,
yeah,
or
Bucks, just an entertainment and storyline perspective.
Bucks Pacers would be fascinating to watch because Milwaukee should be healthy, and that would be a really good grudge match to see how this turns out. So I think with me that would be fun to watch. I'll say this: I think they've been a little frisky with each other the last couple of weeks too. Knicks Pistons. Let me tell you,
I will be the biggest Pistons fan next to you if that happens.
You get my man Kane in the Garden, boy. Oh boy, watch out! I'll be licking my chops for that opportunity.
I mean, the Knicks are going to win, but I don't think that it's going to be a sweep.
Ooh, you think so? Huh? You think that?
I do not think it's going to be a sweep. I will say it would go at least 6 in my opinion.
I think there's some matchups there that I would be very concerned about if I was the Knicks. But Detroit's got enough depth in this case to wear them down. They got one big man.
True.
That's one big man.
Yeah, I keep forgetting there. Like, where is Mitchell Robinson?
Well, that's the problem, right?
No.
Yeah. But he'll play like 5 minutes and he'll be hurt again by game 2.
It's gonna half joke. They should have traded for Mark Williams.
Well, Brunson's out for 2 weeks now. Let's see what the Knicks do. I think they still have enough to be the 3rd seed. I think they'll be locked into that. But playing Detroit, young team, I do see the Knicks winning that series probably in 5. I'm sorry, beyond. But I will be the biggest Pistons fan with you, cheering them on because I despise the Knicks. I always have.
I think Detroit can be frisky, man. I actually like Detroit. The matchup I prefer Detroit is Milwaukee, actually.
Here's the crazy thing. There's only around 18 games left in the season.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The season's done. Like in terms of catching up over like Philly catching to Chicago, for example. Making up 4 games when you have 18, it's not impossible, but it's really hard. And then like all of a sudden, like a week goes by, that's 3 to 4 games. Another week, 2 weeks later, you're talking about like maybe you have like 12 games left and you still might have the same distance. It's hard to catch it up.
Hey, so coach our baseball guys, man. This is math we're used to, man. You're in September.
I mean, but again, I'm trying to help because like I said, in the Twitterverse, I see in the Twitterverse people struggle with math.
Because these guys in this case, even if you put their sports hat on, they're probably not even baseball fans. Because in baseball world, you really know in this case, 4 or 5 games is not easy to make up in this case here when you got like 2 weeks left in the season.
No.
And then there's an emotional toll within it too.
Unless it's 1987, you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you choke away about 6-game lead in this case, the pennant race. But we won't go down that road again.
No.
I didn't hear that from my father I didn't hear that from my father until we won the World Series, man. He's
I heard that too.
Boy, he never let that one go on me.
I will say this though, just about Cleveland. They are so good, Cleveland, but here's the difference. It's going to be Mobley in the playoffs. They will go as far as Mobley may take them because he's the difference maker, I feel. I know I'm going to give Donovan Mitchell. Garland's playing really well this year. I even have an idea I'm going to get for Jared Allen. I think Mobley is the guy who can really take his game to the next level, especially defensively.
Last year, Mobley was a big difference as well in terms of like his limitations. He has addressed those limitations.
That's what I mean. He's stronger now. His shooting is better. I think
so. Before we get into that, really quickly, who do you see coming out? Because it's hard to say who's going to come out on the 8th seed before, but who do you think comes out on the 7th seed?
Well, I'll just give you my 2 teams. I think it's going to be Atlanta.
Yeah, it is. But like, so you think it's Atlanta?
Yeah. When it's done, because they have the best guy of the 4 guys. They have the one guy in that thing here who can win you a game by himself, and he's done it before in that situation.
So you have Atlanta facing the Celtics, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of on the other side of the bracket against Cleveland, and then we could talk about Cleveland, who's coming out?
Orlando.
Yep.
Which is
Orlando will lose to the Hawks and then win against one of the Bulls or the Heat or whoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, okay, I can see it.
They still have the best player in any of those matchups.
I mean, Cleveland has flown high. I mean, we started off this season and I said like they were going to be good. I didn't know that they were going to be this good. I thought that they were going to be like top 3. You know, I didn't know that they were going to be top 1. But,
Nobody saw this coming.
But yeah, and I'm a Mobley guy through and through. People talk about, oh well, like back in the day, you know, you guys want no, I didn't want no Suggs. I wanted Mobley. I wanted Mobley.
Like, you know, it's like I'll put it this way.
We don't have to revisit it too much, but like, yeah, I was a Mobley guy through.
I'm not. I'm just gonna say this, and this probably for the Scotty folks will appreciate this. From a Mobley perspective, man, put up or shut up, man. Like he's got to take a jump because, quite honestly,
yes, he does.
Much like Garland, Garland's not a playoff performer. He's too small. He gets rubbed out and gets worn out. So Mobley's got to give you 20+ points a game and pretty much give you double doubles every
time to shine.
To be the co-star with Mitchell. Mitchell didn't do his stuff, but he didn't need someone to ride with him.
And I was tough on Mobley last year too. I was like, he needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to work on it. And so far, so good. But the playoffs is a different animal, and they have some playoff experience, and we'll see.
Yeah, well, just like Mobley plateaued a little bit. Like, is this guy going to get any better? And then he comes in this year from game 1, which was that against us?
Yep.
Yeah.
He just looked like a totally different player. He looked dominant. He looked
on both ends of the ball.
Both ends. The shooting was the big thing for me because Mobley and Allen, those
for 48 minutes too, man.
It's tough if you don't have one of them who can't shoot the 3. Mobley can now, and getting DeAndre Hunter. I mean, I think Cleveland's got a good chance to make finals.
All right, let's hit the West then, man. Let's do this.
Okay, so going through it, the West super easy. We have OKC, the Lakers, who may drop based on the fact that they just have, had a big injury, and another guy who is struggling with his back. So my neck, my back, my neck, and my groin.
Yeah, he always struggled with his back. So that nothing new with Luka. That is always.
But I'm saying that the combination of the two.
Yeah.
But they are not going to stay at number 2.
This is why the Lakers wanted to make the deal, right? Because I think if this scenario happened as Anthony Davis, if I was a Lakers fan, I'd be a little more nervous about my position. But Luka's built for these type of moments to carry a team when another guy is hurt in this case. So we'll see. But I think they're going to be okay. I mean, if it's about 2 weeks, that's about 4 to 5 games. You know, you get a few sisters to pour in there, you're going to be okay, man.
I mean, it's they're neck and neck with Denver. I mean, it's literally they're 40. Denver has more wins but more losses. So it's done by percentage of wins right now. And so that's how it's looking out there. No. No. We're not. Man, we're like 5-6 games back of the Bulls. We're not catching the Bulls with 18 games left.
As Beyond said, our season's a wrap.
It's been a wrap for a while.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
Who's in the 4th spot of the West?
We really just don't have enough. So Denver's 3rd. Then of course Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Fred VanVleet's team. So Houston, which I actually they're making the jump that I thought that they would make last year, this year. So I'm happy. They were still better because they did beat that win total last year.
Yep.
Just want to point that out. But Golden State, of course, has stabilized with Jimmy. And then you have Minnesota, the Clippers, Sacramento, and Dallas.
Sorry, the Lakers are in 2nd?
The Lakers are in 2nd. Now, to me, the most interesting part of this all is the 7 through 10 spot, because Dallas is holding on for dear life. So, and the Suns are trying to make it. Dallas is hoping to get there. As a Dallas Mavericks fan, what are you rooting for? Because you have a good team if everyone's healthy.
I think, yeah, I'm rooting
You
for us.
know,
I'm rooting for us
yeah.
to get playoffs. Like
Yeah.
they just, at this point, it's like, no, we're not kind of going to backslide into the draft. No, we're going to the playoffs, man. That's what we're looking for. So I
Yeah.
just need to get as many bigs back for the last 15 to 18 games of the season. So if Gafford's ready to go, I need him now. If Lively's ready to go, I need him now. AD, hey, you know AD, man, he need a lot of tuss in there to get him going. So like I know that's going to take a while. So I might see him in the last week of the season, but you know I'll see what I can get. But the other two guys, if I can get them, then yeah, you get them at least.
Put some more in the Josh. Shake it up.
Yeah.
Mo Tussin.
I can spread some water, and hopefully I can find some way to kind of create some type of offense with I mean, some guys are gonna get some opportunities. I mean, a guy like Omat's gonna get some real touches right now, man. Because Klay Thompson can't create anymore off any dribble at this point in his career. So you're the guy that's gonna be able to create off the bounce. And I don't know right now, based on the roster right now, it's gonna be Najee Marshall right now, and probably guys like a guy Omax is gonna get a lot.
Or like PJ Washington and relying on him way too much.
Right, exactly. He's gonna be doing that as well too. So like that's what we're have to do and try to just ride this out and see if we get ourselves to play in and see what happens from there, man. And hopefully AD's back.
A4, we're just talking about the playoffs in the West right now. So let's talk about the matchups right now. Actually, the matchups on both sides of the East-West bracket are looking good, in my opinion. So obviously, Thunder against whoever, Grizzlies versus Rockets. That would be a very
interesting series for sure. I like both these teams. I might give the Grizzlies a bit of a nod if they're healthy.
Yes,
that's the big
key factor.
Yeah, Triple J, Ja.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun series. Obviously, the Nuggets versus the Warriors. That's also interesting. I would obviously give the nod for, the Nuggets. But it's going to be a hard fought series. And it's not necessarily a done deal. It's just in terms of size wise, how much punishment is Draymond going to take down low?
They got nobody stop Jokic. Money, nobody really does. But Steph Curry would need a Herculean effort.
Yep, but they did get Jimmy Butler, and it is not over.
But that's the problem Denver has, right? Everyone, you think it one way. Denver has always been a team that has not handled big wings well.
Yeah.
And you get playoff Jimmy with that bunch there, with Michael Porter Jr. on the island. Good gosh, he was giving it to Drew Holiday. He's probably saying barbecue chicken. He sees Michael Porter Jr. out there. It's like, yo, he got him and Jamal Murray. Please let me have some of this.
Yeah.
I'll take the second serving, please.
Yes. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Lakers are obviously going to face the 7th seed. So out of who's going to end up facing the Lakers? Is it going to be this is if it was ending today, of course, but is it going to be T-Wolves or Clippers?
I still like the Clippers to be the 7th spot.
Okay.
If the Clippers are healthy, that makes it interesting against the Lakers.
So then the T-Wolves would go down.
But yeah, which is asking a lot.
Okay. Between the Kings and the Mavs, as of today, could be the Suns. It could be the Suns versus the Mavs too. But between the Kings and the Mavs, who's winning that?
I'll just say right now, I mean, this is the Kings. Knowing the Kings, this is the Kings playing to lose. And knowing the Kings, that's quite possible. But they should be the team that's going to play in between Phoenix's nonsense and then what's going on with Dallas with their MASH unit. If there's ever a time for Sacramento fans to light the beam and say we can be good, this is it. I don't know, but knowing Sacramento, that they don't take anything for granted when it comes to actually taking a gift horse.
I just think it gets the Mavs. Obviously, if AD's going to be back, but if he's not, I'm going to give the Kings the nod because they could score 140.
Okay.
I just don't know if the Mavs have enough now to outscore. I just don't think they do.
No, at full strength, maybe not full strength. Like say AD comes back, it'd be fun. It'd be a fun game, but like I think that's all, folks. So yeah, like we will see. I think from there, do the Kings beat the Wolves?
No.
I agree.
Probably
the,
not.
The Kings are just a janky team right now. So you'd have the Wolves versus the Thunder, which I do think that the Thunder would beat them. But I will say that they don't have they lost a certain talent down low.
Yes, that would be helpful. Yeah.
I
would say this,
and Rudy does not scare me.
No, I would say that any top team right now is hoping to be in the bracket with Memphis and Houston. That's the bracket you want to be on.
Well, no, because that's the same bracket as the Thunder.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah. Let's put it this way. You're hoping in this case you can get yourself to a position where, as the Thunder bracket.
There's no easy brackets. It's just like.
The Thunder actually got the right. I would say this way. The Thunder got the right side of the bracket if it stays the way it is.
Oh, from that standpoint. Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, because it's like they don't want to potentially face. They definitely don't want to face Luka and LeBron. Holy smokes. That is just crazy.
Well, if OKC gets the Timberwolves this year, remember last year, they were going up against Towns and Gobert.
Yeah.
That was without Hartenstein. Now they have Hartenstein. Towns is gone. Now you do it with Randall. No offense to Randall on defense, but I'll take my chances with OKC now with a year added to Chet.
Yeah, the two teams.
I don't trust Gobert.
The two teams that would scare me if I'm OKC is if they're playing Denver, if it was a healthy Dallas team, because Dallas is their kryptonite, then I would say, you know what, you're in trouble. But Dallas, where they are now, they don't have to worry about that. And then it's Denver. Yeah. It's Memphis could play pretty big, but when I watched what they did with Memphis the other night, I'm not sure Memphis like John Morant has to just manage the game better, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like just looking a little out of control, man. It's like, dude, man, we can't be running. You're year 5 of this. We can't be running the offense like this, man. These type of games. They had them right there. They're neck and neck, 1 possession, 2 possession game, and then they started having some loose possessions. Before you know it, the lead's 13. Game over. But I am still not sold on OKC in deep series because I don't know who's their number 2. I ain't sold on yet. They'll get past the first couple rounds. When we start getting conference and finals, who's the second dude? That's what I'm concerned about. Now, I'm not sure if they got a second dude yet.
Yeah, I won't talk too much. I guess we'll kind of bring it to a close just because I don't want to talk about second round until the playoff picture.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're weak.
We're like 10 games a little bit too early on this, but it's still fun to muse about the playoffs. Gotta stay positive here, right? So I'm just kidding. One thing that we haven't done yet is to bring it back to the draft where things started. We should do a lottery, a simulation, and hopefully for once I'll get lucky because every time we move back.
You need to coach this, man, because oh man, you're brutal at these things. What we got here?
Yeah, maybe coach should do it because I just did it. We just went back.
All right. So people will probably lose me here for a second, but
yeah, but
okay,
I'm
doing
time.
them in the lottery right now. We moved up 1 spot. We now have the 4th pick in the draft.
There we go. Coach
Okay.
But the Chicago Bulls moved up 7 spots with the very first overall pick.
Oh, damn.
Wow. There we go.
All right.
Cooper in Chi-Town. I like it. Windy City. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Washington moved back 4 spots, and Charlotte moved back 3 spots.
Well, they deserve to not get rewarded.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Cooper Flag in Chicago? I'm sure they like that.
Down to T-Dot. Here we go. How appropriate. The 4th pick of the draft. I like it, Coach.
Just the thing for tonight, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I just simulated it one more time just for fun. San Antonio won the first overall pick.
Of course they did.
Yo, man, just make sure Yanya's nowhere near this ballot box.
We won the third pick, but yeah. But okay, we won third or fourth. Okay, who are we picking and why?
Well, the fourth pick, based on his, it would be VJ Edgecombe. That's who would be the pick.
Okay, Daniel Franklin wants to pick Malawatch for the fourth. Okay. I'm not necessarily. There is an argument for Malawatch. Does anyone want to take the Malawatch point, or do you want to just talk about why VJ? Or actually, is there a world where Ace Bailey drops?
There is.
I don't see him going past 4.
But I'm saying he might drop 2-4.
2-4.
There's a world he does.
The way that the season ended.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because if there's
and
one or two,
the fact that there's the tournament, and we all know that the tournament guys move up.
Yeah, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Harper's 2 on my big board, but when I look at the draft, Harper, VJ, and Bailey, there's a world where none of them are like 2, 3, 4. One of them could be 2. One of them could be like. There's no consistency. I think moving forward with that.
I think
VJ's
Bailey
number 2.
Yeah. I think Harper's the likeliest one to drop, actually, if there's anybody. But I think he's the hardest guy to fit into any of the existing teams. And I think I still am not sold yet when it comes to his
Well, hold on. What's your top 4 order again?
What he just did for the
team? Yeah, coach.
For me, I have Harper number 2
no,
on my
teams.
When the tankathon you did just now, who was the
Chicago's 1, Utah is 2, New Orleans is 3, and we are 4.
Okay, so who's Utah taking?
I don't know if they're going to take Dylan Harper after what Dad said, but
okay.
Utah's the team everyone's running from. That's what we call it. We call it a buck. Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Who's Utah taking?
They got Keontae George.
They have a lot of guards.
Yeah, a lot of guards.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Knowing Danny Ainge, he's taking Ace Bailey.
I could see that.
He's taking Ace Bailey.
They could use a forward, I guess.
Yeah. Just like how he took Tatum instead of keeping Markelle Fultz. Ironically, versus a wing, he's taking Bailey if he did get him.
Okay. All right. The third team was New Orleans. Yep. So with Bailey off the board, does New Orleans? Who do they take?
Probably go Harper.
Are we sure?
I ain't sure about that. They don't really have a big right now
because they have Murray.
Right.
I know they get Murray, but that might be play Harper in the backcourt with him, and then go Trey the third beyond Sky and Zion. They might do that.
They also have Hawkins as well.
I think they're going to go for a big man because right now
they might, because they only have and they just traded away or they just waived the last big, so they only have Misi,
and he ain't ready yet.
I don't know if you can pass up on any of those guys from Malawatch.
If you have Zion Williamson the third, you can.
That's a good point.
You can.
Forrest says he could see them taking Edgecombe.
I could see that too.
Edgecombe is interesting, but again, it's like in terms of the guard spot, it's tough because someone has to move. Obviously, they want to move off CJ McCollum. Do they want quickly?
Right, you could do that, but Malawatch.
I'm just kidding.
That team has no front court. None.
But Murray could be out for almost the year next year because he ruptured his Achilles, wasn't it?
I think so.
He's going to be out for at least half the year.
That's my Harper point. Harper's not so easy to introduce to the team, man. That's all I'm saying. Like you start going down the list, even this conventional list like this, you pick the one you had for Tankathon. It's still an issue, right? Because he's not getting picked by Chicago. They're good at guard. You move on to where you're going to. What you mentioned, you had Charlotte on your team. Charlotte could use a big. They were trying to get rid of Mark Williams, so you know where their head's at, right? So they're not going to put Harper if they keep LaMelo.
They might take Harper, but like this draft will speak volumes as to what's going on.
Because they might move Ball and then find Harper to be there, but it's not guaranteed. And then you have the other team, Washington. They just picked the guard last year. They want wing.
So for argument's sake, let's say it's VJ. So VJ is off the board. Ace Bailey's off the board. Harper's there, and Malawatch is there.
And now
who are you taking?
Well, see, now this is not guaranteed again. I would pick Harper, but
Harper
this gets very interesting because they might go the other way and say, we need a center because we good. We got our team now. Okay, guys, you think so? We got our team, right? I agree. This is why I'm saying the Harper pick to me, if anyone's going to drop this draft, especially when they start doing the measurables, and I said before, you do these things with vert and all these type of things, and if his verts and all this type of stuff, his speed doesn't look great, you're going to watch and see, it's like, hey, man, even though you be sitting there, the guy can play. What are we doing here, folks? But I'm telling you, those things are going to start coming into factor, and everyone's going to say, oh, okay. Especially
I think it's Harper because also they've been watching this kid for a long time. Remember that the brother played.
If the Raptors pass on Dylan Harper for Malawatch, I'd be very concerned. You don't pass up on a guy who's like could be like Cade Cunningham or Harden. I'm sorry, you don't. You figure it out afterwards. You trade someone to get another big. I'd throw my hat. If you pass up on Harper for Malawatch, like, what are we doing? It's beyond saying.
How would you let your hat prepared? Yeah?
I got a lobster on there, so I'd have to put it in the
he didn't say he was going to eat it. He said he was going to throw it away.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Coach. Your digestive tract will not hurt.
Because let me tell you.
I'll do this.
Certainly did an endoscopy with that.
Yeah, brace yourself for that, folks. Brace yourself for that one. That's all I gotta say. Brace yourself for that one. Brace yourself.
I don't know how you'd be able to do that.
This is how you do it. The tantalizing nature of Malawatch. The problem is we're not going to focus on his development, though. So, which goes back to my original point. I'm not worried about Harper. I'm not worried about Harper.
The safest pick outside of Flag, you might be.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not saying he hits the highest. I'm saying he might be the safest.
Do I think that he has Embiid-like upside? If we're talking about prime Embiid, no. I don't think so. Absolutely not. I think he can join what I call the Slenderman revolution, where he could be defensively really, really, really good as a game changer, maybe all defense level. I think the timing right now is a little bit off. I think that there's things that he needs to get better at. He needs to get stronger. There's simple young big man mistakes that he makes in terms of letting smaller guys box him out. But those are things in general. He plays bigger than his size, and I do like Malawatch in a lot of ways. I don't think that I would. I think people need to temper their expectations of Malawatch. He's quite raw still.
The intoxication of the big man versus the little man with NBA executives is a long-standing tradition.
Yeah,
and believe you me, right? Because if you go back to the Raptors in 2003 draft, right? They could have actually picked Dwayne Wade and he would have fit this team too, but they went with Bosh.
Yep.
Right? They went with the big. They went with the big. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Bosh was a great player. He's a Hall of Famer in his own right, but he ain't Dwayne Wade. All I'm saying is, buckle up, folks.
And at the time, we still had Vince. Like the idea was, let's put Vince and Bosh together. They should be a good fit, and Bosh is talented enough.
I think,
which I see.
Yeah, I think here is the problem, right? Is that we always try to do this whole, and they're even doing it now, where it's like, well, you need a big, and you need a small guy, and so they're like, okay, we need the big. No, just get the best talent. To your point, what does it look like if we do draft Wade over Bosh? It's a completely different series of events that play out from there.
Mhm.
And I have nothing against Bosch. Bosch was one of my favorite players growing up.
Which is ironic because when they all got together in Miami, essentially you had two wings in this case, running Miami, which you would have
Yes.
had in Toronto.
Yes.
It's like, somebody made it work in Miami, huh? Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. Go ahead, go.
Well, let's go back to 2004, the year after. You don't pass up on Andre Iguodala for Rafael Arujo. You don't do
Again,
that. I'm not comparing Malawatch to Arujo, but
there we go again. All I'm saying.
Dylan
Right.
Harper's on the board at 4, and he falls. You've got to take him.
So what if we don't get Dylan and Mal? Well, yeah, of course you take Malwatch, but here's the problem: if they don't move up, there's a good chance that they may not get either of them.
True. That's why the ping pong balls. That's why May 12th is the only date that matters right now. May 12th. Nothing else matters.
Like if you don't move up, like Malawatch will probably end up being in the 6 to 7 range. Maybe he might get up as high as 5.
5 to 8, 9.
So say he's 5 to 8. Let's just make it simple. And you move back, and you're now the 8th pick. You're not guaranteed to have him there because his range is up to 5.
It's quite likely.
Your guys' thoughts on Jaeger before we get out of here, because we're gonna get out of here pretty quick.
I'll put it to you this way, Daniel. There's one player in this case here that I will pretty much throw up my lunch in this case here. We draft. That would be the one. That make clear enough for you? What do you think I did? Like, good God. Give me anybody but him. Please.
I think he was very, very highly hyped coming in. People compared him to Luka. He is not Luka. That's what I will say.
Once he played the University of Houston, they just put the clamps on. I think he had 3 points and 3 rebounds in one game, and then his stock has fallen ever since. Like, we'd have to fall outside of 10 or something like that.
If we pick Jaeger, that means that Darko's running the front office, not the front office running Darko.
I would say, yo, man, give applause to Darko. Say, didn't know you had that type of idea. I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with your game. Harlem says May 12th. It's on the calendar. Exactly.
That's all right. Harley.
Yes.
2 months away, basically.
Let's see. Our next game yes. We will be there. We will. Yeah. We were. That's what I did him. It's a no for me, dog. To quote Randy from yeah. Where do you? Okay, Queen is a good question.
That's my man.
I like Queen's game. I could see him as, like, if you fall back, you take Queen and then you keep it moving. He's not bad. Then people can stop complaining about the big. We don't have a big. You get Derek Queen. I'm cool with it. So yeah.
If we had the 6th pick, let's just say we fell a little bit, and Malawatch is off the board, I want Queen. He's my next guy.
What about Trey Johnson?
No, I'll take Queen. That's just me.
I'm good.
His footwork.
Coach has spoken.
He's gotten better in every game this season. He's gotten better. He's shown a little bit of a jump shot. I think he's athletic enough. He needs to trim down a little bit of weight, but if he's in shape and puts on more muscle, how good might he be then?
I don't think he's like Kenny Lofton.
No, he ain't that. I'm trying to think what he's like. I don't know, but
might be a hot plate Williams.
But I think the combine for him is going to be crucial, because if he's 6'8", I'd actually would pass. If he's got to be 6'10" for me. If he's 6'10", I can't. Would be too small to begin with. But if he's 6'10", and he's on the board at like 6 to 8 for me, I'm interested. I like him.
I still think Trey Johnson's interesting. I mean, he has the size, and he's just been solid all year. I mean, I think he hasn't gotten no love. What about even Asa Newell? Or maybe it's Asa Newell. I'm not sure.
He's Asa.
Asa, yeah. So, well, yeah, I think he's also interesting. I just don't want to come out with like Knipple.
He's actually playing well lately.
He is. He's just.
No, I know. I'm not proud.
Yeah, It's redundant.
The only guy that could be in that mix might be, and he's kind of slipping a little bit, is the man from UConn.
So beyond no Trey Johnson for you.
I mean, if we're in that position, I want the best talent. I'm still swinging for the fences. And Trey Johnson, I agree. I said before, I said it's Trey Johnson and Newell for me.
Yeah.
Like if we're in that spot.
Noah. What about Noah, the guy from Europe?
Oh, Traore?
No. He's falling. No. It's it has Nolan. Noah Asang. I'm not good at pronouncing these names right now. I usually practice.
Yeah, he's probably going to be around 9 or 10 or 11.
Yeah. So you don't want to. Will Mobo get minutes? He's Scotty's boy. Of course, he's gonna get minutes.
He'll get some minutes next year. Yeah.
You know what? No. If the right draft pick comes along, man, someone gonna lose minutes.
Who would be most likely to allow him to lose minutes? That's a good question. True. If we're saluting the flag, bye Bobo.
Bobo has been fun, fella. He's barely same thing. It's been fun. It's nice knowing you. Nice knowing you, Bobo.
Yeah. I need a good Canadian flag back here at some point. So yeah. Or yeah. I think
you should probably wrap this up though.
We're yeah. In terms of Yegor, I don't think so. Unless there's another. Is there an Igor from Tennessee? I don't think so. Shed backup point guard. How many picks do we have? We only have 2. Any international? We're getting to the international guys. So I just mentioned one, Noah. There's a couple other guys that are going to be coming up down the road. We might get to a little bit of Nolan. Like there's sleeper pick type guys.
The first guy is the man from Illinois, is we were going to discuss first.
Yeah, Yakachonis Kasparis. I know he's controversial at this time. I still believe in him, but yeah, you know who's interesting? Richardson's kid.
Yeah, Jace.
Yeah, he's moving up. Yeah.
He's moving up, so that would be an interesting guy if he falls back or you move up to the to get a second guy, depending on who you pick. So yeah. Anyways, yes. Before we get out, yes, like, comment, subscribe. It will be an interesting tank week, whether you are for the tank or not for the tank. Listen, are you not entertained after watching these games?
I'm looking for Will for them East Bailey takes, man. I'm looking for you, Will. I know where your address is, man, on Spaces. Man. I know where you're at, man.
That's funny.
Talk, man.
But it will be. So yeah, you know what? Before we get out of here, let's preview the week ahead. Because we usually do preview the week ahead. Let's preview the week ahead in Raptors land, and then we will get out of here. Actually, I should just pull up the calendar app because it's usually there. Because I downloaded the schedule a long time ago. So next game is on Wednesday, and then we have another game after Wednesday. Wednesday's game is going to be very interesting because we face Philly. Then we face Utah. And then on Sunday, we face the Trailblazers. Now we will lose to the Trailblazers. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
They have their core. They're ready to go. Even if they're ready to make moves forward, and that's where they're at. Do we lose against Philly?
Yes.
We certainly will try.
We will try. That's the biggest thing in all this. We are trying to lose games.
I think Nick Nurse, Philly's goal is not just to tank. Philly is saying, if we lose our pick, we want to lose the worst pick to the Thunder, I believe it is. So let's do that. And if we move up, then great. That's where Philly's at. Philly's basically like last year for us, where it's like at some point you're just like, please, Kelly, let's try to let's ride this car until the wheels fall off, and the wheels did fall off, by the way. I got cussed out because I said Kelly has a bad back. Well, he did do us a favor, so shout out to Kelly. He did help with the tank the other night with the 26 points and stuff like that. It is what it is. Yeah. Will's predicting this. On that note, people, stay safe. It's getting warmer, so I don't have to say stay warm anymore. It's been fun. Take care. I hope you guys had fun. It's always fun chatting hoops with you guys. And everyone, take care. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.